couple interesting debates and things like a debate happened in the last few weeks. One big fun one is, yeah, I'm sure you heard about this. Sir Dave Vladimir Rubin was on the program where they have one person debate a bunch of other people, and often it can go a lot of different ways. But this is how this one went. We're just gonna watch a few clips where Dave kind of goes up against people. So he chooses the claims, and then people run out and debate him about them. They didn't know that they were going to be talking to Dave Rubin, but they knew they were going to be talking to a MAGA, a Republican President Donald Trump supporter, which Dave is now well comfortable calling himself. He used to not be. Yeah, so here we go. This was a fun part of it. Let's just kind of watch a little clip and see what happens here.
Things, and we give them foreign aid and everything else, well, then we should have equal playing field going both directions.
What better deal did he get?
What?
Okay, so now they are talking about, he's being asked what better deal did the president get that made it valuable to, use the blunt force of tariffs, which are ultimately taxes on our own citizens and businesses.
What deal did he get?
What do you mean? Several countries have already come back, and we've
any of the conditions that made the trade better off. Give me the specifics.
Canada, I think they had something like a 60% tariff on cheese, literally.
So this is a good thing to do when you're debating, is just ask direct questions that force someone to be specific. So Dave kind of takes a shot.
On cheese that was being sold from America, from Wisconsin to Canada, and that basically is zero right now. That's one little example. I think it's zero right now.
Okay, so that's a targeted tariff, not a universal tariff.
Yeah.
Can you name?
Right, they were talking about specifically our country obviously added tariffs on entire countries, let alone not even on not on industries. Tariffs can be useful if you do it in targeted ways and then build up your own national industry in a particular industry, and then tariff that industry regarding imports from other countries. But the universal, where it's everything from this one country is going to be tariffed at 15%, at 30%, it's just insane. So yeah, fact check comes in and says Canada did not have a flat 60% tariff on U.S. cheese. That's now basically zero. Under the U.S. Mexico-Canada agreement, U.S. cheese gets expanded duty-free access within quotas, but Canada still applies steep over-quota tariffs of about 245% on cheese. The protection was not reduced from 60% to zero, so a little bit off. Let's just kind of find another bit. I saved timestamps that I thought were funny, but they might not all be equally funny. Let's see. So he's talking to someone here. Let's see what goes on.
In this country, to have more, what I would want is that you would take less from them, so you tax everybody less.
So Dave is just kind of giving his classic libertarian-esque, right-wing libertarian-esque, I just want to tax people less, and I promise it will help everyone reduce income inequality.
You remove regulation. You create the conditions for competition and capitalism so that more people will have more of their money. I assume you work. Do you work?
Okay, wait, watch this.
Yeah.
Do you pay taxes?
So why did Dave just ask her if she pays taxes? I thought this was such a funny moment because Dave doesn't seem like he's trying to be snarky. I guess he's so rattled that his expression might just be completely disjointed from what he's thinking or what he's intending. But why would you ever ask someone if they pay taxes? I assume he just means income tax, because that's I don't know how you avoid paying sales tax or other types of tax. But he just he straight up just asks her if she pays taxes. First of all, if she didn't pay income tax, she wouldn't admit it on a massive platform. But also everyone pays taxes, Dave, except for rich people, who pay to reduce their tax load. Obviously this person you're talking to pays taxes. But I guess he's only talking about income tax, because I don't know how you avoid paying other taxes.
Yeah.
I want you to keep more of your money. I
Right.
don't know what you do. I don't know
So-
how much you earn. Whatever it
That's
is you
perfect.
earn, I want
This is perfect. It's just totally irrelevant. Okay, so let's see another bit. There was something from here I actually wanted to show. Yeah.
you to have more
That's
of that
perfect.
money so that you can put that money back into the system.
majority
You
of
can buy a
wealth in this
house.
system
Yeah.
is owned by 1% of the population. You understand
Yeah,
that, right?
and-
And where does that wealth come from?
Wait, 1% of the population. Do you know how much percent they pay in taxes? That 1%?
Not nearly enough,
Not-
because
so
the
what
majority
would
of
be-
their
all
because
right,
the
so it's
majority of their wealth
47%.
comes.
Oh, I need to pause it. I always forget. Oh, God, this could be really bad. I always forget. Jubilee doesn't let people watch their shit. Okay, I might have to get creative with the editing. If there's a lot of weird cuts, it's because I just, tried to make it so this didn't, piss off Jubilee. Maybe they've gotten nicer about it, but they historically do not let people watch their shit. But I'm seeing other people do it, so I don't know. Maybe it just can't be monetized, which I don't care. But this channel's not monetized anyways, Verbal Journal Podcast. But yeah, check this out. So they're talking about this is an argument you hear a lot of right-wing people make and centrists who just parrot right-wing points. The 1%. Oh, do you know how much taxes the 1% pays? Let's hear this.
From
It's 47%.
right.
Hold on. So 1% of the population pay 47%. You accept that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what would be their
And-
So 1% of the he gets fact checked. The 1% pay 40% of federal income tax. Let's say it was 47%. Let's say it was 50%. Let's say the top 1% paid 50% of taxes. I'm sorry. This kind of makes me a little crazy. How are people this stupid? How do they fall? How do you say, oh, it's so crazy that the 1% pays 50% of the taxes? Well, you know what question that brings to mind for me? What percent of the income does the 1% make? Right? The top 1% of earners. What percent? Because if they make 50% of the income, then it would actually be reasonable that they paid 50% of the taxes. No? Well, let's see. Let's take a little trip and see. Let's see if there's any information out there. What percent do they pay? Wealth of the 1%. The share of wealth owned by the 1% of richest people in the United States has reached a record of 31% in the third quarter, the highest record. So, it's not that disproportionate. This is how much they make. This is how much they own. They own over 30% of everything. Meanwhile, the bottom 50% owns 2.5. So it's not that disproportionate to pay 40 or 50% of the total tax revenue when you make 30% of the whole tax revenue. I don't think that's a huge differential at all. The coronavirus pandemic put a similar dent in the wealth creation of the 1%, with the group's net worth going through a trough. I think that it's pretty reasonable to say the 1% of our earners should not make 30% of our income. But if they do, they should be taxed significantly. It's not good for our economy to have people make an incredibly uneven amount of money and then just hoard it away. It would be better to burn the money, let alone use it for SNAP or universal health care. It's just crazy and then when you look at the actual numbers, only 38 to 40%, it's that's not that significant of a difference from them literally the proportionate amount. I'm not even saying this is how the law should be made, that it's a 1-to-1 proportionate thing, but it is a reasonable starting point to ask okay, 1% pays 40% of the taxes. What percent do they make of the income? Oh, 30%? Okay. I'm somehow not that shocked that they then pay 40% of the total tax revenue if they make 30% of the wealth every year or own 30% of the wealth overall. I don't know actually the percent of income per year. Percent of income each year U.S. by top 1% earners. Between what is this? I'm seeing like around 20%. Yeah. So I don't know. So regardless, yeah. So I think, yeah, it's actually perfectly fine for them to pay 50% of the taxes. And obviously we should raise the taxes on every dollar over, 5 million. If you're making over, or whatever, you should be paying a significant amount more per dollar over 5-10 million a year, because that's plenty. All right, let's see some other points here.
Talk about where do you want to go? I'll even give it to you.
Would be
I'll give it to you. Where do you want to go?
Yeah. Why did you take Russian money and pretend like you didn't know?
Okay.
So this is great. I wonder if Dave realized he was going to be laughed at by a room full of people. Because I feel like that's something you wouldn't anticipate unless you thought it through. But yeah, Dave obviously historically was caught to be taking money from a Russian cutout called Tenet. And he parrots a lot of pro-Russian talking points. Now he parrots a lot of pro-Israel talking points. So it's nice to have him called out. Multiple people called him out to his face.
So I was...
Obviously, I think it's fine to be paid by other country. In theory, I just think, it's not, inherently wrong to be paid by a country, I guess. I don't know, but it's, when you're promoting propaganda of that country, whether it's cause or effect, it just seems, bad to do propaganda for countries in general, or for, companies.
Reached out to by Lauren Chen, who you might know as what's her name, Post Millennial Online, or
she's
something.
like the Canadian white nationalist that's Asian.
Roaming millennial, and
she is. Dave just kind of ignores that.
We were on each other's shows, and she contacted me a couple of years ago and said that she had.
The guy who's hosting it seems like he's having a great time. By the way, I assume this is Dave being a bit of a soft boy, but I have never seen a Jubilee person sitting in the circle to make sure everything was okay. I've never seen there be a babysitter there. Maybe I just didn't notice, but I've never seen Jubilee have a babysitter there for the contestant. So I would guess that Dave requested or demanded that.
Some backers that she was talking to, and she was starting a new network, and they were talking to all sorts of people. She mentioned Tim Pool. She mentioned a whole bunch of creators that you guys know and I'm sure love. But
yeah, I mean, there are other people like you.
It was
Okay, let's we can't go through all this stuff, right? Let's just kind of fast forward a little bit. Let's see. Is this at the very end when he lets someone choose the question? So this person comes and talks about trans rights with him? Let's see.
I grew up in a time when there was no gay marriage, and when I was a kid.
Okay, so Dave is a gay man. If you're familiar with him, you know that, but Dave's a gay man, and he's he promotes, politicians and political movements who are fully ready to strip away rights from his own, people. So he gets called out for that in this debate. I guess I could find the point where he gets called out. I don't want to go through all the timestamps I saved, so let's just kind of see where he gets called out for it. And then we'll fast forward to this part I was about to show. So he is friends with a guy. Oh, they don't know how to spell his name. Yeah, okay. Here we go.
Trump is in the middle of his second term. Gay marriage is here. It's passed. It's a just cause. I believe in individual rights.
Wait. You're friends with Michael Knowles, right?
Yeah.
So what's that coalition again called? I think it's Less Equal. That's trying.
I think it was called Greater Than or some other thing. But yeah, a friend and associate. They don't work at the same place because Dave doesn't work at the Daily Wire. But Dave is friends and associates with commentators like Michael Knowles, who, we don't know why, if it's just pure, evil, or if he's just overcompensating or something, but who literally supports stripping the rights to marry someone and have children away from people who are attracted to the same sex that they are.
To actually get rid of Obergefell and overturn gay marriage rights? Does that not concern you?
Well, first off, I've never heard of that specific organization, but what I can tell you...
I've never seen my friend saying online that he doesn't think I should be allowed to get married.
Friends with them!
Michael is part of. I just don't know what you're talking about. But what I would
look it up right now.
What I would
it's
say
called
is
Less Than,
no.
And it's Lila Rose.
So it was called it was actually called greater than or something. But yeah, he's completely right, and you can look it up. So he's getting called out for being a part of a movement that would strip away his own rights. And that's sort of the context. It comes up a lot throughout the thing because it's a really good point. So here at the end, let's see what happens.
When there was no gay marriage, and when I was a kid, for however confused I was or anything else, there was I never thought about the future because it wasn't even a thing. Like, there was literally no future. And then magic happened over time, and we got equal rights.
Wow, it's honestly some of the realest things I've heard Dave say, to be like, I didn't even think about a future. I didn't even know, like, that I would be able to have a family myself.
I've been married for, God, it's a long time now. I've been married for about 13.
Yeah, it was the Republicans that did the push for gay people's rights to marriage, right, Dave? Was it the Republicans, or who did that happen under? It was the Republicans, right? No? I forget.
15 years. My husband and I have been together for 15 years. We're in a 100% monogamous relationship.
Oh, I thought this was strange, and maybe it's just sad because it just shows internalized homophobia. But like the way he keeps saying that he's in a monogamous relationship, he says it twice. First of all, it's okay to be polyamorous, but he feels the need to, like, totally unprovoked, say that his marriage is monogamous. I mean, there's obviously this homophobic trope of like gay men being like more promiscuous, but like, so it's sad really that he's responding, that he feels the need to defend himself in that way. And it shows that he's part of a space in his online world and in his friends and everything where like he feels the need to defend being gay by being like, well, I'm monogamous. I think polyamorous people have every right to be married too. I don't know how that should work legally. I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure there's some ways it can work.
Two of the most incredible kids who I want to grow up with the most amount of respect and love, and who are safe and cherished and all of those wonderful things, as I hope if you want, you will get in your life too. The reason I mention that is because the difference between equal rights for everybody, versus what you might do to a child are very different things. If there is a child who I suspect when you were a young kid, how old were you when you thought you were in the...
How old were you when you knew you were trans would be the question. And what's the answer? I wonder.
I was 5. I was 5 years old.
Yeah, lots of kids have a sense that they're trans. Lots of people don't. Lots of trans people don't think about it when they're kids. But lots of kids do start having a sense that they're trans. And that's why it's good to like validate that and just be like, oh, that's okay. Oh, you want to wear this? Like, okay, cool. Like, oh, you want to like do that? Okay, like fine. Okay, and then if they're like 13 and they're like wanting to take puberty blockers, it's like, okay, they talk with their doctor and their parents, and hopefully the parents don't try to get in the way of like the healthcare. And then hopefully the state doesn't try to get in the way of the parents, the doctors, and the kid all agreeing with each other.
5 years old. Okay.
I realized that I was a trans person.
Okay. I can accept that.
Can I also ask how old you were when you realized that you were gay?
Great question. I'm so glad she asked this, and I don't think he answers. But it's a great question. It's a fantastic question. So let's hear.
I mean, I came out very late for a series of other reasons.
And are you still gay?
Only after 10 p.m. So I don't know what time it is right now. Okay. Oh, look, I made him laugh. There you go.
Made her laugh, Dave. It's funny, but it's also transparently a way to not answer the question. I mean, are you still gay is, I guess, a joke. But it's also like, I mean, I don't know. Like he says he came out late for a lot of other reasons. Were any of those reasons related to our culture being like really homophobic, Dave? And have you noticed that like that tends to be more the case with one political movement versus the other? So one other thing that I think is related to this.
We're less than 5 now, and I have not really had a moment to speak.
Yeah. So again, I'm just making the point between children and adults. I want you to have...
And that's exactly what I'm going to...
It's... Children still like have rights, and also we're talking about parents' rights to get their kids the healthcare that they need. Somehow, like these like libertarians and Republicans and centrists seem to have no problem with the state interfering with people's families when it relates to stopping trans kids from being able to access healthcare.
I'm going to respond to right now.
enough.
I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate you not misgendering me. I appreciate you
Not intentionally, seemingly.
treating me like I'm just a regular human being. And that's what trans people are. We are just regular human beings with the same struggles, trying to get through this life. Actually, more struggles, because we have this whole group of people who want to take away our rights.
Sure.
As somebody who's been elected...
So can you
let
just
me
tell
finish,
me what right?
Let me speak.
But what right?
Yes,
I'm just asking. What right?
The right to access healthcare, the right to access, like, even the right to express your gender, like the right to call yourself the gender that you are. Like, there have been so many states that have been cracking down on people's rights to gender expression, let alone to access health care, or like to not be discriminated against in housing and employment. These are rights.
Saying it right now, as somebody who's been an elected official in Los Angeles since 2019, every single year I've seen more and more and more anti-LGBTQIA bills moving across the federal legislature and across state legislatures all across the
you can look it up.
U.S. And when I say anti-LGBTQIA bills, what I actually mean is anti-trans bills. Bills that are trying to...
Yeah, and Dave's a part of that. And Dave, one thing I also wanted to show you is this just came out this week. Just so you know, Dave. Support for gay marriage. This is support for gay marriage. Dave, this is the party you're defending. This is the party you're defending. That since 2021, since Biden took over, support for gay marriage has gone down almost 20%. Almost a fifth of people who supported gay marriage in your party, Dave, no longer support it. You went from half of your party supports gay marriage, supports your right to have a family, to about a third of your party supports your right to have a family, Dave. So this is polling. I mean, this is just like, I don't know what to tell you. So lots of interesting points from this. Maybe I'll look at one more and then we'll move on to another fun subject. Let's see.
Autonomous healthcare decisions.
Yeah, but okay. So have we whittled this down to some people make jokes about people? They do. They make jokes about people.
They're not just joking. They're trying to legislate against our very existence.
But again, if you,
your friend Michael Knowles at CPAC said that we need to eradicate transgenderism in society. That is a direct threat to me, my neighbors, my friends, and family.
Okay.
Oh, but Michael Knowles was just talking about ideology. He was talking about the idea of transgenderism. Don't look at the fact that when they see people doing this thing of being a trans person, when they see trans people existing, to them that is ideology. They say that existing as a trans person is promoting trans ideology. So when you say we're going to eradicate the ideology and you associate the existence of trans people with the ideology, how do I think Michael Knowles would feel if the government made concentration camps for trans people? I think he would like it. I think he would be speaking out publicly in support of it. And I think Dave would be just like trying to talk about other stuff. But I mean, Dave is openly transphobic, and on his podcast that no one really listens to, and I'm sure the numbers are all like boosted. They were just saying like incredibly transphobic stuff. He was just being like a real piece of work.
Full credit on me saying super meth and that it is a real thing, because
this is like an amazing cope fest. It's a long clip. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show you, like, Dave's just openly transphobic.
Right. The drug addicts and the homeless.
With the back of the 60s.
Oh my God, this guy's completely discredited.
Anyway, just play the... Dave, I made a choice halfway through that if one of them was going to attack you, I was going to get involved. Because that's the level of tension that was in that room. Anyway, for 2 hours and 55 minutes, I think I did a very nice job. I did have one blip moment where I kind of blanked on something, and I fully grant that. And the internet...
Which one was that?
that is what it is. But anyway, I thought I'd show you one moment. You know, I haven't really talked about it much, but I thought I would do it with you guys because that's kind of the purpose of why I want to do that. And then they surround them with 20 God, and basically mine was, it was like MAGA guy versus 20 far left progressives. And I kind of didn't want to do it because I've just been through enough versions of the internet and dealt with the hate and the whatever. My team really wanted me to do it. I was like,
that's hilarious to be like, my team wanted me to do it. I didn't want to do it. Okay, well, I mean, did you not choose to do it? Like, I don't, I don't remember where he said this, but he just really gets like, he's just like a bigot.
Moment within the 3 hours. This was with a person who I am told that at first they told me was a drag queen. That's what the producers told me. Then I guess it's a trans person, or it's unclear to me.
I mean, she literally said to you she's a trans person. Like she made that really clear. She said she definitely identified herself as a trans person. It was like not vague. I'm pretty sure that was explicit.
But is also a California state Senate candidate. Anyway, just play the.
Yeah, that's not confusing. Are you okay, Dave? What's going on? Okay. Anyways, Dave, I think you're having a bad impact on the world. This was funny too, though, because Jillian Michaels, she's famous for like fat shaming people professionally, but she's moved into political podcasting, and she's kind of hilarious in the sense of like you really feel like she's not like on like she's not fully like with it. But yeah, she recently had a debate with Sam Cedar, and she talks about that here a little bit.
I've seen it warn you of death threats on social.
And you know, one of the interesting things about the internet now is nothing.
Obese.
Mr. Pratt said you can get a.
Have not funded
trans individual where they're so egregiously misinformed. No, very different. But it wasn't political necessarily.
She's talking about her own time. She went on Jubilee and just talked about how she doesn't like fat people.
They weren't.
Which is totally not political.
A group comprised of radical leftists. I did have a run-in with a radical.
So this is really funny because she's about to bring up Sam Cedar, who Dave Rubin has been dodging a debate with for like a half decade. And she doesn't realize that that's the case. And she doesn't realize that Dave's going to be incredibly triggered by bringing up Sam Cedar. But also look at the way she characterizes her debate with Sam Cedar, which was very funny.
Radical leftist recently, which I mentioned to you, Dave, and I experienced something very similar. I had a conversation with Sam Cedar, and literally they launched a bot campaign on my YouTube, flagged all of my videos for demonetization.
What? No way. There's no way that happened. What are you talking about?
I have something called LifeLock to protect my credit. I have never in my life seen it warn you of death threats on social media.
Look, I don't know. Like, obviously, like, that's horrible. Like, no one should be threatening anyone. But, like, I don't know what that has to do with, like, Sam Cedar didn't make any death threats. And, like, he didn't do anything like that. And, like, the listeners of The Majority Report are, for the most part, like, really nice people that are not doing that. Like, what?
I had, as of last...
You can't just blame, like, you can't just blame Sam Cedar for that.
We could stop now, finally, like 995 death threats on social media.
That's horrible. I've never seen Sam Cedar call for anyone to threaten anyone or harass anyone.
They sent bots. I have like on the one video that we did together, there are 9,000 comments and 100,000 views.
Okay.
So Red Seat had to deal with the back end of my channel because they thought I was like buying engagement. It was a nightmare.
Jillian, when people buy engagement, why would anyone think you're buying engagement by buying comments? People would only buy, like if you have a disproportionate amount of comments on a video, like 9,000 comments is a lot for 100,000 views, but no one would think you're buying engagement for comments and then not buying engagement for views because you don't get money for comments. So the only reason to buy engagement for comments would be to make it proportionate to the views that you're buying engagement for, which obviously you didn't buy engagement for 100,000 views. She's talking about this. Yeah, 127,000. Like, obviously you didn't buy engagement. It's just that a lot of fans of Sam Seder came and commented. Like, it's not really surprising. I mean, so yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, what else? So this was interesting. This is one sort of thing that's been going on. I always talk about, just a little update. Dave Rubin is just like obsessed with people gasping. I know that's a weird thing for me to say, but like, he always talks about how people are gasping, and I noticed we just wanted to check in, see how much he's talking about it. Yeah, see, the crowd is gasping. He always mentions people gasping. It's just, I guess, part of like the framing of things that's kind of interesting. People getting visibly angry. Maybe visibly angry is a new thing he does a lot, actually, instead. Let's see. Let's just search visibly. Visibly angry, visibly angry, visibly angry, visibly angry, visibly upset, visibly angry, visibly offends, visibly pissed. I mean, you could just say pissed, right? Because it's a video, so obviously it's going to be visual. Oh yeah, and then I thought it was funny. One last thing about this. This is the clip where she talks. It's like Sam Seder's a Pokemon. This is the clip of what we just watched where she's talking about Sam Seder. But why does she call it an interview? It wasn't an interview. It was the ultimate clash. Jillian Michaels versus Sam Seder. So it was a clash. And is a bare knuckle debate. And yet then she calls it an interview. Okay. It was very funny though, and I mean she's just not super qualified about things. So yeah, very funny, very worth looking at. And yeah, just Dave, consider this. And I'm sorry, Jillian Michaels is also gay. So both of them support MAGA, support Republicans, and they're both gay, and they both are seeing their own party like crater their support for their right to have a family. It's shocking. This is a podcast.